The Cardinals and red-hot J.D. Drew have not been swept by the Phillies since July of 1993. And this afternoon, right-hander Dustin Hermanson will try to snap the two-game losing streak. We're in the city of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. And this afternoon, from Veterans Stadium, the Cardinals and Phillies wrap up their three-game series. Alongside of Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin, and once again, welcome to Cardinals baseball here on WB11 and our Cardinal television network. I mentioned J.D. Drew is red hot. He is red hot.
Absolutely. He leads the club in home runs. Started out on the road trip where he hits a monster blast about 460 feet into the river at Pittsburgh, and then he carries it on. He only one hit in the series, but it was a monster blast last night. Better than 450 feet into the upper deck. Only 17 times has someone hit one that far here at the Vet.
J.D. Drew has 16 home runs. That leads the Cardinals. He also has 8 in the month of May. That's tops in the major leagues. As far as pitching, we have seen some great pitching in this series.
Well, we really have. We've been on the short end of that pitching, and we expect Dustin Hermanson to just pick off what he's done the last several times out. Normally he'll give you 6 or 7 innings and usually only 2 runs, and we hope that that'll stand up and be a Cardinal victory.
This is the 9th start of the season for Dustin Hermanson. It's a look at our Chrysler Jeep starters, and Amari Telemaco is 4-0 surprisingly for the Phillies.
4-0. He really got roughed up this last time, but he did not lose that ball game as his team scored a bunch of runs against Milwaukee. He really seems like he's better suited as a reliever.
Big crowd on hand for the finale of this series. They've got basketball on their minds here in Philadelphia. They'll go for the sweep, though, on the diamond next. Cardinals baseball on WB11 is brought to you by Michelob Light. For a smooth, satisfying taste you won't find in an ordinary light beer or Michelob Light. By AutoZone, the right part, the right price, and good advice. By your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals on WB11. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. For tires and complete auto service, all you need is Dobbs. And by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 30 years of freedom, 30 years, one mission, low fares, Southwest Airlines. Well, surprisingly, the Philadelphia Phillies lead the National League East. They're 25-16. That's the best record in the National League. The Cardinals are tied down with Houston in the Central at 24-17. A new attitude for Philadelphia, and certainly, Al, you can see that in Larry Bowa's club here in 2001.
Well, Larry Bowa is a really fiery kind of guy, but he's keeping his emotions in check, and his team has responded to that type of attitude. He was a tough player. You know, he made the most of his ability, and he's doing the same with his team, and they're having fun.
And certainly they are pitching just like the Cardinals have. The Cardinals have an outstanding 3 in Kyle Morris and Dustin Hermanson. We'll see Dustin on the mound this afternoon. He's 4-1 with an ERA that is under 5, but it's about pitching and it's also about hitting. And the Cardinals have gotten big-time production in the last 3 to 4 weeks out of that man, J.D. Drew, and he silenced this crowd last night.
Well, he did. It just came up short by 1 run, but you come out and you do battle. We've already lost this series, but no reason to be swept.
Well, the Phillies have taken the field. I mentioned basketball on the minds of many of their fans here at the Vet. They have a 5 o'clock tip as they try to advance in the NBA playoffs. Here's a look at the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for Tony La Russa and the Cardinals. Vina to lead things off, followed by Polanco, Edmonds, then Pujols, a bat cleanup. J.D. Drew, Langford, Renteria, Eli Moreira's behind the plate, Mike Matheny. The afternoon off, Dustin Hermanson on the mound. He'll hit 9 for St. Louis, and the right-hander, Amari Telemaco, 4-0 this season for the Philadelphia Phillies, their starter.
Really pitched very well early in the season. Then last time out he got roughed up, but he didn't get the loss in that game. You know, opponents only hit 268 against him. He has a very good sinker slider, and a lot of times he'll finish off hitters with a split finger.
Behind Telemaco this afternoon for this 3rd game of the 3-game series. Defensively, it's brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Burrow, Glanville, Abreu in the outfield. Rowland and Rollins, 2 youngsters on the left side. Anderson and Lee, another youngster playing first base, Travis Lee. Bennett behind the plate, and the last time Amari Telemaco took to the mound, he was roughed up, a no decision against the Brewers in a game that the Phillies came back in, so he was lucky in that game not to take the loss.
Yeah, it was really quickly. It was 9-0, and then they eventually, the Phillies lost that game in extra innings. But Telemaco, for the most part, pitched very well. He likes to be in the starting rotation. Originally came up with the Cubs from the Dominican Republic. Been released twice.
This is our final visit and our final game at Veterans Stadium here in 2001. Of course, we'll have a new stadium in 04, and the Phillies will come to St. Louis in August. And because of the new schedule and the way that things are played out this season, only 2 meetings between these two clubs. Fernando Vina will lead things off. He's leading the National League with 38 singles. He has 5 doubles, a league-high 5 triples, and in road games hitting .338. He'll step in and lead things off for the Redbirds. And the first pitch to him. The ball inside, 138 with our first pitch here in Philadelphia. Vina, Polanco, and Edmonds. 347 for Vina here at the Vet. Rolling way in at third. The next pitch to him. This is inside, 2-0. It's Pat Burrell. Bobbing head Dow Day. That's easy to say. Vina takes a strike, 2-1.
One of the new marketing crazes in baseball, and the Cardinals are going to have 2 such occasions. One to honor Mike Matheny, and then one of the upcoming ones, I think, in the Cincinnati series is when Jim Edmonds will have his bobblehead doll.
That's right. The 2-1 pitch. Inside, 3-1. Pretty decent crowd on this Sunday.
These guys have to pose for this and, you know, do different things to be the subject of the bobblehead doll. They have to take their...
He's scared to find out what they have to do.
Yeah.
Leadoff base hit for Vina on a 3-1 pitch. And that's how we start this game.
Good way to start. And he adds that league lead in singles. And ball just kind of up right over the middle of the plate. And Vina gets things started. Be nice if we can get out and get in front. You see the National League leaders in singles. Vina with 39.
That'll bring in Polanco. Gets the start this afternoon. Had the night off last night. He's playing third. Pujols moves to first. Paquette played first last night. Polanco, a 3-game hitting streak. Has hit safely in 23 of his 30 starts. Among the league leaders in batting average, comes in hitting .333. Has been very good on the road. Just 25 years of age, Placido Polanco. It's a perfect situation for him with room to the right side. Great back control. And they have to hold Vina at first. Lee does. Vina has 6 stolen bases and a pretty good lead. Threatens to go. That hit the ground. This might be 2. And it is. Good play by Marlon Anderson, who flipped to Rollins and over to Lee for the double play for 6-3.
I've been very impressed with the Phillies defense. Jordan on Friday night made some nice plays at second base. Here Marlon Anderson gets a tough chance and really tough luck for Polanco. He hit that ball extremely hard and nothing to show for it.
Edmonds will step in with 2 down, nobody on. At his season high 8-game hitting streak. Snapped last night, but he has scored at least 1 run in each of the last 9 games, and he came around on Drew's 2-run home run into the upper deck last night. And Edmonds has gone into the upper deck before here at the Vet last season. You can tell Robert Person was on his game last night. And the strikeouts in the 9th inning, struck out 2 of the last 3 men he faced, including Drew and Edmonds. 414 here at the Vet, and he's hitting .354 overall. Amari Telemaco reached the majors in '96 with the Cubs. He was just 22. Really failed to progress after that. Had an ERA over 10 and 11 relief appearances with the Phillies last season.
Jimmy got cheated out of a strike. They appealed to Gary Cederstrom, the third base umpire. He said he went around. Take a look at it, and you can see he broke his wrist. Not literally, but
we know what you meant.
Yeah.
Ball and 2 strikes on Edmonds, who shoots that one foul. Pujols to follow. An outstanding article by Mike Eisenbath in today's Post-Dispatch on Albert Pujols. If you're wanting to find out more about the 21-year-old rookie, who waits on deck. Mike is with us on this leg of the trip. 1-2 pitch to Edmonds. He got him looking. A 1-2-3 inning for Telemaco. Leadoff base hit, erased on the double play, and then the strikeout of Jim Edmonds. The Phillies will come to the plate. Larry Boa was the Mariners' third base coach last season. He's got the Phillies playing tremendous baseball coming into this game. They lead the East. No score early on. Bottom of the first we go, and here's a look at their Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Glanville to lead things off. He led it off last night with a home run, followed by Rollins, Abreu, Rowland, Lee, Burrow. Part of their order, very young, very good. Anderson, Bennett, Telemaco will hit ninth, and on the mound for St. Louis, a man that has been very good as well and has been hot as of late, Dustin Hermanson.
Well, Dustin, that 4-1 record, ERA coming down. He's making his 9th start. Eating up some innings, usually gives you 6 or 7 innings. He does lead the staff with those 10 home runs allowed. But he just really seems to be finding a groove. I think he's working very well with Dave Duncan, and it just seemed like it was a perfect match with Duncan and Hermanson, a very talented guy that can take him to the next step.
Defensively behind Hermanson this afternoon, brought to you by Dobbs, Langford, Edmonds, and Drew in the outfield. Polanco, Renteria on the left side, Vina, Pujols on the right side, and Eli Morel gets the start behind the plate. Glanville, Rollins, Abreu. And the first pitch is a strike. You don't want to say, Al, that Dustin Hermanson is a Dave Duncan reclamation project, because that wasn't the case. But he's the kind of guy that he's a veteran where you can take him in and make a few adjustments, and it takes him to another level. Last night, Glanville, off of Andy Bennis, will get the scoring started in this game with a home run. And that was his 7th of the season and his 17th RBI.
Yeah, Dustin is, I think it's better to say, take him to the next level. Very talented. Kent State, #1 draft choice with, and I think 3rd overall with the Padres.
Up the middle, Vina is there though. Has to be quick, and he is over to Albert Pujols. 1 up, 1 down. Got to bring in Rollins, a very good young shortstop, just 22 years of age. He homered off of Steve Klein in Game 1 of this series. He's shown a little power with 3 home runs and 14 RBIs. He has great speed, leads their team in the stolen base department with 12, and he's hitting .255, and he's been very good in the field with just 1 error.
Yeah, switch hitter. Looks like he's got more power from the right side than he does from the left, but he was the preseason favorite to be the National League Rookie of the Year, and see why people thought so.
Hits this one into center. Edmonds will go back just a bit and put it away for the 2nd out here in the 1st. WB11 is the #1 WB affiliate in the country for the 2nd straight year. And WB11 would like to thank all the St. Louis viewers for making WB11 the #1 WB affiliate in the country. Thank you, St. Louis. 2 years in a row. And there's 2 outs as Abreu will step in and nobody on. Rolling to follow. He's batting cleanup. Last night it was all about Robert Person, a 4-hitter, a shutout. He said all his family and friends are watching back home in St. Louis. He was pumped up afterwards as the Cardinals dropped a 1-run game, and the Redbirds are 2-8 in games decided by 1 run, including 0-5 now on the road. Polanco in at 3rd, and there's a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I was very impressed with Robert. Seemed like he's figured it out. You know, don't be enamored by the strikeout. There are tough points in a game when you need one, but save something in reserve to finish it off, and he did so. And that's when he kind of reverted back. He's kind of learned to harness his fastball, sacrifice some of the velocity to throw strikes. And then in the 9th inning there, then he said, okay, let's go back to just old-fashioned hardball, and threw it by people.
He was getting it up to 94, 95 and topping out in the ninth. And like you said, he had a little bit in reserve and let it loose in the ninth. And that's figuring it out, right?
Yep. I mean, most kids come up and they think strikeouts are the most important thing. And they are glamorous. But they take a toll. Your pitch count. Finally, when you start becoming a true pitcher is when you learn that maybe I can get rid of guys with 1, 2, or 3 pitches. Where normally if you think of strikeouts, you're throwing 5 or more.
2-2 the count. High fly ball into right. Through. Broke in. Breaks back. Makes the play on the run right in front of the wall and puts it away. So a 1-2-3 inning for Dustin Hermanson. We're just underway after 1. No score. Collectors Coin Day, McDonald's Collectors Coin Day is coming up at the ballpark Saturday, June 16th. 12:15 start. It'll be the White Sox interleague play. McDonald's Collectors Coin Day coming up at the ballpark Saturday, June 16th. Here's Albert Pujols. Pujols, Drew, and Langford. Hit into right, and Pujols is 0 for the series as Abreu puts it away. Here's J.D. Drew at a 2-run home run last night into the upper deck, and this was a bomb off J.D.'s bat.
Absolutely. Only 17 times has the ball gone up into the upper deck, and J.D. has put his name on that distinguished list.
It was part of high drama at the end of the game last night. Fans on their feet. J.D. Drew at the plate. 1-run game, and he had already homered.
Seems like every day we've getting a bigger crowd here as the Philly faithful are sort of disbelievers early in the season that Larry Bowa's troops were this good.
I'd probably be amongst those folks maybe staying away with the staff of Randy Wolf and Telemaco and Omar Dahl and Robert Person, but Dahl and Person have been much better. Telemaco has been surprising at 4-0, and J.D. slaps this down the left field line. That could be trouble. Burrell on the run, though, makes the play, and J.D. is retired. That's the second out here in the second.
Telemaco gave up the hit to Vina. He was erased in Polanco. Hard hit ball for the double play. A strikeout to Edmonds and a couple fly balls this inning.
Here's Langford, who struck out 48 times this season. These are high totals, obviously. But comes in hitting .275 with 10 homers and 24 RBIs. And on the road is when he's been able to turn it up a notch or two. It's been much better on the road as opposed to playing at Busch. Inside the numbers, Bank of America taking a look at these two teams.
Yeah,
what the Cardinals have done.
291 average at home, 8 games over 500.
Langford shoots this one into left. Burrow going back, looking up. Home run number 11 for Ray Langford. He goes the opposite way. His 25th RBI, and the Redbirds are on the board against Telemaco. 1-0 on Ray's solo shot.
Ray third on the all-time home run list for the Cardinals, and he just adds to that. He has hit 218 home runs. He's the all-time Busch Stadium leader, but doing a lot of damage on the road. His natural power is to the opposite field. Stays right on this ball, and then he drives it out there. It's really good when you see Ray hit the ball out of the ballpark to the opposite field. He tries to pull it. He sacrifices power, and he pulls off of pitches, but that's where his strength is.
Here's Renteria with 2 outs in a 1-0 St. Louis lead. Telemaco not happy with that last pitch to Ray Langford. 1-0 Cardinals.
6th home run hit against Telemaco, the 11th for Ray this season.
Renteria has seen his average jump to 246 with 4 homers and 15 RBIs. And I say jump to 246 because it was much lower than that when we started this road trip.
I was telling Renteria this morning that Larry Bowa had some very kind words and has been impressed with Renteria's play. And he said, wait till today. I really impress him.
Let's see. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Setting him up.
The 2-2 pitch. Hit to Roland, who has just 4 errors on the season and a Gold Glover in the past, and he puts away Renteria. But Ray Langford has given the Cardinals a lead. His 11th of the season the opposite way. 1-0 Redbirds. What's on Tap is brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. 6:30 will come your way on Fox Sports Net Tuesday night. The Cardinals and the Brewers in the first of 3 in both those games. 2 of the 3 games will be seen on Fox Sports Net Tuesday and Wednesday, then an afternoon game in Milwaukee, and then off to Cincinnati. The Brewers are just a game and a half out of first place in the Central. Houston now tied with the Redbirds. They won yesterday. Chicago 2.5 back. Cincinnati 6.5. Pittsburgh 10 out. NL Central standings brought to you by AutoZone. Dustin Hermanson with the lead, 1-0. You'll see Roland, Lee, and Burrow. They all had back-to-back doubles last night against Andy Bennis.
I just can't wait for Tuesday to start seeing the box fun facts.
You are all over the fun facts.
Oh, man, these guys are just so clever.
Let it rest, all right?
No.
Let it rest.
Life is so beautiful you can't rest.
And coming from you, Al, that's good to hear.
Rest or die.
You're up at the crack of dawn every day playing golf. Eli Morera will give that a look, and out of play. Roland hitting 242. And then by the time when you arrive to the ballpark with no sleep, you're a happy camper and loving life.
Get sleep.
After golf. Occasional. Roland pops this one up. Pujols has room and puts it away. That'll bring in Travis Lee. Lee hitting 278 with 7 homers and 19 RBIs.
9 home runs last year and only 1 as a Philly after he came over to trade from Arizona.
It took him 2 months to do that.
Right.
Bonus baby that signed for $10 million was to be the cornerstone for the Diamondbacks. He's played a little bit of outfield, now back at first, and that is tattooed into right, and we are tied. Goodbye. Wow. Home run, Travis Lee. No doubt about it over Hermanson. 1-1.
Up into the luxury suites, takes over the team leadership with only his 8th home run. Dustin has now allowed 11 home runs. But probably the most glaring thing about Dustin is that he's given up a lot of home runs. And look at this ball. It's kind of middle half in, thigh high, and said hit me. Not really the location that Dustin wanted.
He's allowed now a staff high 11 home runs, and coming into this start, and that's driven down the right field line. Drew giving chase, and a fair ball. Pat Burrell on his way to second.
Ground rule double.
A ground rule double. That ball got away from J.D. Drew and out of play, but we're saying before, now with a staff high 11 home runs, and coming into this start, only 2 in his last 3 that he has given up. But he's given up 1 here to Travis Lee, and now the double to Pat Burrell. And the middle of the lineup last night did some damage, and yes, it's bobblehead day. bobblehead day, and that'll get the fans coming out in droves here in Philadelphia.
He'd really been struggling, Pat Burrell. Gave him a couple nights off just to mentally relax him, and he's come back and swinging the bat better.
Marlon Anderson hitting .270. Burrell in scoring position. Tie game 1-1, just one out. That's slapped right at Polanco. What a play. Gets up and throws to first. Fantastic play by Placido Polanco. That would have more than likely scored a run. It was scooting hard on the infield in the artificial turf. And good base running by Burrell, by the way, too.
Yeah, you see him, he's in, and so he started coming, and really Polanco couldn't do anything. Basically, it was almost by him, but he was playing in, and so it gave Burrell, the runner at second, a free lane to go to third.
Wow, how good is Polanco? Just so solid.
Absolutely. One thing you say about this turf, and it's an artificial surface here, much better, much softer. It's a modern variety, and you know, it's been real true in the hops. How did you describe it? What did the process that they make?
Well, they take tires and the rubber that obviously is in tires, and they grade it to a fine, almost like sand, put it in there so it softens up the turf, so when you're running it gives it more of a softer base. But there are different variations of this type of turf, and this is pretty short. You see on some football fields, soccer fields, it's a little bit bigger, and you can see when the ball moves it skips up, and you can actually see the grindings come up as the ball will skip along the turf, almost like a wet day on AstroTurf.
It seems like all the hops have been very true.
Burrell is at third. 1-1 pitch to the catcher, Gary Bennett.
Bennett has 3 hits and 4 bats against Dustin Hermanson. Our first look at their backup catcher.
Lieberthal, of course, out for the season with a knee injury. Tore his knee in a couple of spots. Ground ball, and this should do it. Vina to Pujols, and the Phillies strand one, but they get on the board as well and tie this game up in their half of the second. Travis Lee, a shot into the luxury boxes, a 1-1 game. If you would like to win Cardinals tickets and participate in the Southwest Airlines Family of the Game promotion during a Redbirds home game, here's your chance to do so. Send your name, address, and phone number to Southwest Airlines Family of the Game, P.O. Box 771192, St. Louis, Missouri 63177. Good luck from Southwest Airlines, and good luck from all of us at WB11. 5 o'clock, the tip between the Sixers and the Raptors. Big crowd here at the Vet. Fans getting ready for game number 7, the NBA playoffs, and you are watching Cardinals baseball on WB11, KPLR St. Louis, and the Cardinal Television Network. Eli Marrero will lead things off. Marrero, Hermanson in the top of the order. 1-1 game, pair of home runs. Langford and Travis Lee, respectively. Cardinals have lost this series, and they have not lost many series this season, dropping the first 2 of this 3-game set.
Eli's hit .304 in his 12 starts, and he also behind the plate in 9 starts. He's played first base a couple times, one time I think in the outfield, but his 9 starts behind the plate. He owns a 1.87 catcher's ERA.
I mentioned, Al, on Friday night how surprising it was to see the Phillies in first place, but after watching them play and pitch, not so surprising anymore.
Well, it's surprising because they're not getting a lot of production from the middle of their order, but they have pitched extremely well, and the best thing for their pitching staff is their good tight defense.
3-0 on Marrero. Looks at a strike. In April of 2000, with Terry Francona at the helm, they were 7-17. Now Larry Bowa turned that around. Their first month, 14-10. A year ago, in May, they were 11-16, and now they've matched their win total already from a year ago. They're 11-6 in this month. come in 25 and 16, and 5 games up in the East over Florida. Atlanta lost to San Francisco as Barry Bonds had a huge night last night. Atlanta 6 games back, and they're 3 games under 500. The Mets have been terrible as Guerrero grounds this to second. One out. Made the play close. The Mets are 16 and 26 and 9.5 games out.
Marlon Anderson, second baseman, plays so far back on the grass or in the outfield. They see the only team in the East with a 500 or better record. New York, 16 and 26.
There's Dustin Hermanson hitting 176. Helped himself in his last start against the Pirates with an RBI base hit. He has a pair of RBIs on the year. The 0-1 from Telemaco. Grounded left side, Roland. Over to first, 2 up and 2 down. You watch Roland defensively, Alan. Fundamentally, he is so sound.
Yeah, a lot of things about him you really like. You know, he seems like to be a very good base runner. He has terrific power, but the defense is what really makes you, it catches your attention for a big man. He's very fluid.
He's been in the league now for 5 years. He's just 25 years of age, out of Indiana. Was a highly recruited basketball player as well, so it's probably where he gets a lot of that agility. Here's Vina, who's 1 for 1 with a single. Now leads the league with 39 singles in the National League.
So leads the team with 6 stolen bases, 6 infield hits, and 2 bunt hits.
Still nursing a sore ankle that was hit in the series against the Pirates. Rolling way in at third, and Vina takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 down and nobody on here in the third, and 1-1 game. Fernando tries to lay one down and shoot it past Telemaco, but he can't. Vina not happy with himself. A 1-2-3 inning for Amari Telemaco. We'll move to the bottom of the third. 1-1. Famous for our steak burgers. And by Hyundai dealers, where driving is believing. Test drive one at your local Hyundai dealer today. Telemaco will lead things off, and a look at City Hall here in historic Philadelphia. The great cities up here east, along with New York and Boston and Philadelphia. Lots of history if you walk around this great town.
Have you ever gone to some of the history, you know, the Independence Hall?
Well, I saw the Rocky statue. Does that count?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have actually. It's pretty neat.
Done that with the girls in the past. Kind of fun. It's all within walking distance where our hotel is.
Vietnam Memorial, right by where we stay, is fantastic. 2 balls, no strikes on Telemaco. Hitting just 111. And it goes to 3-0. Not what Hermanson wanted to do with the pitcher up.
Time to regroup.
That catches the outside corner. 3-1. Leadoff walk handed out by Hermanson, the first walk in this game, and Landville will step in as Tony La Russa takes a look.
Can't be happy with that. You know, you got the pitcher up, you've been pitching effectively, and all of a sudden you start walking people. Landville, who has a 15-game hitting streak, second longest in the National League this year.
Todd Hollandsworth has 1 game longer. Glanville extended it last night with a home run and looks at his strike. Today, he is grounded out to second. In April, May of '99, Glanville walked 27 times. And since that time, he's had just 60 walks. Not what you want out of your leadoff man. This might be 2. Polanco. Vina. Great turn at second once again. Started by Polanco to Vina to Pujols in a double play. 5-4-3.
It's automatic. The Cardinal infielders, especially when Vina is the middleman. He is so quick. Always avoids that runner. Fire a strike over here.
Have you seen anybody better?
No.
And did you play with anybody that reminds you of a guy like Vina? At least in maybe watching, of course, Ozzie was so good at getting the ball out. Tommy Herr was good in that double play combination.
Vina's the best that I've seen. Julian Javier was nicknamed the Ghost because nobody could hit him.
But Del Maxville.
Well, I mean, Max is a shortstop and everything like this. I mean, those guys are very, very good. But I mean, I just think his receiving the ball and getting rid of it, you know, in a blink of an eye.
Okendo was very good. Fielding percentage, National League leaders at second base, and Vina, nobody better.
Like Jeff Kent. You have to think that Vina has many more chances than people like Jeff Kent or even Rizolani.
One ball, 2 strikes on Rollins. 2-2. Tony La Russa in this series not very happy with Steve Klein, and in particular with comments made after the game to reporters about the man at the plate, Rollins. That's slapped into left. He uses all fields, and Langford has to be quick. Rollins will think about taking 2, and a high throw, and that gets away. Vina couldn't pull it in, and that's near the stands, and Rollins will stop at second. That'll be a throwing error on Langford, his second error of the season. With 2 outs, Rollins with great speed is in scoring position.
Ray got it back in quickly, just a little bit too high. And a strong throw, but a little too strong. And here he goes back to the bag, and then he sits there and sees where the ball is. He looks at his third base coach properly, and he puts on the brakes.
A good opportunity here for the Phillies to take the lead in the third. Langford's second error of the season. And Abreu, the number 3 man in the order, will step in. He has 24 RBIs, and that's tops on their team. I mentioned that Tony La Russa not happy with Steve Klein because Klein, after he gave up the home run to Rollins, followed him around the base pass and then was questioned about it afterwards. What wasn't he happy about? He wasn't happy about the way that Rollins had flipped the bat. And he said, quote, "If you're going to flip the bat, I'm going to flip your helmet next time." La Russa wasn't happy.
Well, first of all, you just never say anything like that. And part of the reason is, you know, if a ball gets away and just kind of goes up in that area,
it's going to seem like headhunting.
Absolutely, and that's one thing Tony does not want his team to be known as, is headhunters. So there are places to retaliate, and it's in the trunk of the body, not up around the shoulders and above. Steve also admitted to me that he overreacted, that it wasn't as bad as he thought it was.
He's got a lot of family and friends here. He's from Pennsylvania, and I'm sure he was juiced up for the game, and that's the last thing that you want to see.
Not only that, but talking to him further, he said that there was some history between the Phillies and Montreal, and particularly with Vladimir Guerrero.
Hit to short. Renteria gathers himself over to Pujols, so the error does not cause any harm by Langford as Renteria retires Bobby Abreu. 1-1 game as we'll head to the fourth. Welcome back to the Vet. Today's Bommarito Automotive Group leaderboard. Holy smokes, hits, National League team leaders. The Cardinals 392 and the Rockies 455.
How many times that ex-boxer been hit?
That has to be an old prize fighter that just never made it and stayed around a little too long. Holy smokes. Here's Polanco.
Kendo thought he was a boxer.
Oh, man. Polanco, a little chopper to short. Rollins shows off the arm. There's one down. 5 straight set down since the home run by Langford.
Both these pitchers have sinkers, good sinking fastballs. They're going to get a lot of ground balls. And the only scoring in this game has been on the home run ball.
Bring in Edmonds, who's been, I don't want to say slumping at all because he's hitting, coming into this game, .354, but striking out an awful lot on this road trip. Struck out in his first at bat here today.
First in the National League in home batting average at .432.
Thing is about Edmonds, and we saw it the other night, he struck out 3 times and then comes up and hits a double, so he can explode at any point in time. One ball, one strike. Telemaco just has 1 strikeout, and that is Jim. Last night out, Barry Bonds hit 3 home runs, and he passed up Melott, Eddie Matthews, and Ernie Banks on the all-time home run list. He's tied at number 13. Now he's 12th overall.
514, right?
Yep. The Giants won 6-3 in a game that was rain delayed at Turner Field in Atlanta.
Rod had 511. I know Ernie Banks had 512, and who else had 512? Is there somebody else?
It was Melott, Matthews, and Banks.
Eddie Matthews.
And Edmonds strikes out on a pitch that was up, and it looks like he is limping just a bit back to the dugout. We hope he's okay. After he swung, he was very ginger about walking away.
Let's take a look at what you're talking about. Off-speed pitch. Still kind of nursing those quad and kind of groin muscles a little bit. You know, he was given the option whether he wanted to play today or not. Obviously, he said yes.
Here's Pujols. A little number. That will be foul off the end of the bat. Albert in this series has struggled for the first time in quite a long time. He's 0 for 10 after flying to right in his first at bat.
Longest dry spell of the season for him.
Hitting .355, which is still good enough for top 5 in hitting. It's tap foul.
Told you he was a boxer. Kendo almost took the ball right out of the glove of Rollins so he could give it to a youngster.
Albert with 14 home runs. In the hole here, no balls, 2 strikes, and this is where he can be dangerous with those 2 strikes. They set up outside, and he takes it right back up the middle, and that's why he's dangerous. Good job of hitting there. Breaks head 0 for 10's little mini slump. He's 1 for 2.
Yeah, you know, one of the things he does, he kind of spreads out a little wider, keeping from being out in front on off-speed pitches, and that's what he got there. Just sort of laced it up the middle. So maybe he'll go on one of his patented streaks.
JD will step in. As is customary, the boos rain down when JD is introduced. Steps on the field or makes a catch. Big 2-run home run last night into the upper deck. 0-1. JD really starting to come into his own. Leads the club with 16 home runs and 35 RBIs. Those 35 RBIs, 9 behind Pujols.
Every now and then somebody tries to sneak a fastball by him on the inside part of the plate. Turns on that with the best of them. That was an off-speed pitch he hit out last night.
It's a shot into right center. Pujols around second. The throw comes in quickly. J.D. Drew has a double. And it's second and third. And it's up to Langford, who is homered in his only at bat. So Drew with the double, and a good play by Glanville to cut that off before it went to the wall. That easily could have gone to the wall on this turf.
Now deep he plays, but fastball's up. It turns on and hits it out into right center. Once it got by Marlon Anderson, the second baseman, he knew it was going to be extra bases, but Glanville got it back in quickly with a strong throw and a good slide by J.D.
So with a 1-1 game, chance here for Ray Langford. Ray comes in with 11 home runs now and 25 RBIs after his solo shot back in the first.
He's also now 4 for 6 facing Telemaco.
Drew at second, Pujols at third, and the first to Langford. This is up and away. Renteria's on deck. An open base, of course, at first with 2 down, and Renteria on deck. Grounded to third. His first time up. As Al mentioned, Langford is 4 for 6 against Telemaco.
Larry Boa has a lot of respect for Ray, and rightfully so. Almost a little surprised that they're even pitching to him.
The 2-0 pitch, strike, 2-1. Langford in the top 20 among National League leaders in the home run department with 11. Gonzalez and Bonds with 20 to lead the league. Drew and Pujols in the top 5, along with Helton, Sosa, and Walker. Two balls and a strike. Let's see if they want to pitch to Ray. The first base open. Ring and 1. May load him up and deal with Renteria.
I mean, it's especially now that you're falling behind the count and you don't want somebody to, I'm just surprised now they are going to intentionally pass and throw the 4th ball. I mean, 3-1. You got a Ray and he's had the pitcher's number. You got a force play at any base. It just makes sense.
Let's turn to our date in history. Baseball history is brought to you by Schnucks. May 20th, 1983, by whipping 4 batters in a 5-0 loss to the Padres. Steve Carlton moves past Walter Johnson into second place on the all-time Major League strikeout list. May 20th, 1983. This day in baseball history brought to you by Schnucks.
How many games, or I should say, how many pennants more would the Cardinals have won if they wouldn't have traded Steve Carlton away?
Bases loaded. Renteria fouls it back.
Contract dispute. You know what the difference was? $5,000.
That's it, huh?
$5,000.
At the time, was that known?
And we were talking about $70,000 versus $75,000. Mr. Bush got involved and told Bing Devine, trade him. I don't care what you get. And Philadelphia at the time was having a contract squabble with Rick Wise, so they switched, traded him. And at the same time, that same spring, not only did we trade Carlton, but also Jerry Royce.
1 ball, 1 strike on Renteria with the bases loaded. There's a strike. That looks like the identical pitch. The pitch before.
Well, the pitch before. You look at Larry Bowen with the jacket on the dugout. He's going, where is that pitch? And then sometimes you can do that and you can get a call. Now the same thing. They come back inside and look at the catcher pulling it down for him.
The 1-2 to Renteria. Fought off. Lee is there. Makes the play and foul ground. So Renteria strands the bases loaded. 1-1 through 3.5. Sunday, June 17th, when the Cardinals play the White Sox. It's Pasta House, Coca-Cola, Pennant Day at the ballpark. All fans 15 and under with a paid admission receive a pennant featuring pitcher Matt Morris, courtesy of the Pasta House and Coca-Cola. That'll be Sunday, June 17th, a 1:10 start. The White Sox in town at Busch Stadium. Cards battle the Sox, June 17th. WB11 is the #1 WB affiliate in the country for the 2nd straight year. WB11 would love to thank you, the St. Louis viewers, for making WB11 the nation's #1 WB affiliate. The Cardinals strand, the bases loaded. Hermanson back to work here in the bottom of the 4th, a 1-1 game. And this is the cleanup man, Scott Rowland. Rowland, Lee, and Burrell.
Sometimes our viewers in St. Louis just take it for granted. WB11. It is recognized nationally very prominently. Tell you one thing, all the folks at WB11 never take the viewers for granted, though.
That's right. We wouldn't do such a thing.
No.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Rowland. Rowland and Lee and Burrell did the damage against Andy Bennis last night. 3 doubles back to back to back, and the Phillies had a season high 5 doubles in the game.
Rowland has had his problems with Hermanson. He's only 2 for 16.
Two and 2.
Still a little confused about what he told you yesterday. I'm not concerned about his average, just worrying about his power productions.
He doesn't really get into average that much. Kind of took me back a little bit. Oh, we have the chance. Want to say a great job by Doug Stanton in the truck. Once again, doing our graphics and stats along with Tom Mee and Lindsey Polite, Old Yeller, Kent Samuel, and our great crew here in Philadelphia. Old Yeller. Full count on Rowland. That's ripped foul. Our crew is so dynamic that you can take Ken Samuel and he can direct, he can produce. Tom Mee can direct and produce. And Doug, well, he's just Doug.
The guru.
He knows his role and fills it well and feels good about it. Lindsey bails him out all the time, Lindsey Polite. Especially after some long evenings and certain road trips. Full count on Rowland. That's ripped foul. He's having a pretty good at bat here against Hermanson.
Is that why we showed the City Hall earlier?
No, Doug spent the night at the hotel room. He was not incarcerated by any means. The 3-2. Ooh, just missed outside, and Hermanson walks his second man of the game. And the second consecutive inning in which he's walked the leadoff man. He did it to Telemaco an inning ago, and this one to Rowland.
After a bunch of pitches inside, he tries to work away and just a little bit wide.
So the leadoff man is aboard. Nobody out in a 1-1 game here in the fourth, and that'll bring in Travis Lee, who homered his first time up. He has 8 on the season, and he looks at his strike low and away. Hitting .283. Burl is on deck. He doubled in his lone at bat. Pretty well hit the opposite way, but Langford is there. Gathers it in for the first out here in the fourth, and back to first goes Scott Rowland.
This ball come out to left field, kind of slicing into the corner, but Ray's right there, sure-handed with 2 hands. Makes a play. You know, Dustin is 1-4 with a 4.16 in 13 career games versus Philadelphia. With his lone win coming, a complete game shutout here at the Vet last April 14th, a 4-0 Expo win. He split a pair of decisions last year while posting a 0.56 ERA. And he's 1-3 here in 7 appearances at the Vet with a good ERA of 2.82.
Here's Pat Burrow, who bust onto the major league scene a year ago.
Keep an eye on the dugout. This ball going right up the tunnel. I would have got Danny Ozark. Danny was Boa's manager, playing here with those good Phillies teams.
Burl, just 24 years of age. Pops this into shallow center. Drew coming on and makes the play. Have you noticed now in the last couple of weeks, Drew playing with more confidence, not just on the things that he's done at the plate, but it just seems like he's been more of a take charge kind of defensive player, and on the base pass a little bit more confident too.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it comes with just his complete personality is a little better. Jim Edmonds has helped him an awful lot with his defense, but I think the fact that he's very happy living in St. Louis, feels more acclimated to the major league scene, more readily accepted. That you're seeing some, you know, better little nuances about his game is a little more aggressive.
Here's Marlon Anderson. Drew's the kind of guy that takes a lot from his teammates, a lot of good-natured ribbing and whatnot. Anderson rounded to third in his first at bat, rolling back to first after leadoff walk, and now there's two gone after 2 flyouts, Lee and Burl. Anderson had a pinch hit home run on Friday night. He's hitting .270. Talking about $5,000 to try to sign Carlton, that being the difference in why he wound up here. How about Vince Carter today? He graduates in North Carolina, then he'll be here in Philadelphia for the tip-off of Game 7 in a private plane. A little different.
Oh, sure. Even when I was told when Bing Devine called Lefty and told him that he was going to be traded, he even said, well, can't we split it? Split the difference, you know. So in one sense, it's either 5,000 or 2,500, either way you want to look at it. Mr. Bush said, get rid of him.
The rest is history. 2 balls and a strike on Anderson.
But I mean, same thing, you know, at the time you traded, you know, Jerry Royce. You got Scipio Spinks, and unfortunately, I mean, Scipio would have had a long and brilliant career if he wouldn't have ran through a stop sign, tore up his knee, and eventually hurt his arm. I mean, how many wins, pennants would the club had with those 2 lefties?
What a play by Vina as he snags that line drive, and that was hit hard off the bat of Anderson, but that ends the inning. Vina outstretched and moved to the 5th. 1-1 game. Well, the Phillies are currently experiencing their longest homestand of the season, 12 games. They have struggled against the National League Central so far this season, but not against the Cardinals. They've taken the first 2 and 5 against the Central. They've done well against the Redbirds. Telemaco back to work. He's 4-0 this year, and pitching really has defined the Phillies this season. They've got great starting pitching. Eli Marrero to lead things off. Tomahawks at foul. Marrero, Hermanson, then Vina if anybody can reach Polanco. First time up, Marrero grounded to second. He's 0 for 1. Came in hitting .281. He's been very good in his role this season, whether it be a pinch runner. He can play the outfield, play first, obviously behind the plate, possesses a great arm. I think as the season wears on, we're going to see him playing more and more. Rollins knocks it down, gets up, but not in time. Eli reaches, leadoff base hit. Here in the 5th. See if Hermanson can move him over.
No, if he absolutely necessarily had to go to his knees, kept the ball in the vicinity, but Marrero's good speed. If you waste any time or don't catch it directly and throw, you're going to find him at first base with the base hit.
Now it's up to Hermanson to move him over. Rolling way in at third. Lee will hold Marrero at first. Eli does have a stolen base. Rollins, by the way, just 1 error on the year. Hermanson squares, pulls back, hits it right side. Safe at second, on to first, and they get that man, Hermanson, but good piece of hitting by Dustin. Just hit it right at Marlon Anderson as he squared, pulled back, and then hit it right to the second baseman, Anderson, and this double play is all for naught.
They say Eli is safe there, so it's a 4-6-3. Look at Eli slowing up. I mean, why are you looking, Eli? The play's right in front of you. Just run hard, slide into the bag.
Larry Bowen now talking it over with Lance Barksdale, the second base umpire. That was awfully close, and I don't know if Barksdale thought that Rollins did not hit the bag or if Eli beat it. But I didn't think Eli had beat that throw.
It sure looked to the naked eye that he should have been out. Now watch him right here. Now he looks back, but he's coasting. Like you're saying, oh, he's not going to throw here. The play's right in front of him. Never take something for granted. Always assume that they're going to make that play there at second base, and always go in anticipating the slide. Don't try and get halfway, half sliding, half standing up.
And he assumed by taking off with the pitch that Anderson had no shot to get him at second, but he did.
The ball was hit so hard. Well, he's safe there, and boy, if Hermanson would have had that ball about 5 or 6 feet further into the hole between first and second, he would have had a first and third situation.
Either way, Eli moves up. And here's Vina, who's 1 for 2. It is National League leading 39th single to lead off the game. He's 1 for 2. Average just under 300. He hit back to Telemaco, trying to reach on a bunt, trying to drag it past him his last time up. Rolling way in at third, and Vina hitting a lot of fly balls as of late. Hits this one into center, and Glanville puts it away for out number 2.
I understand why Vina tried to bunt. It wasn't necessarily because of Telemaco, it was because of Marlon Anderson. We talked about how deep he plays in the outfield.
In-game box, the home run by Langford, the lone run of the game for the Cardinals. Polanco is 0 for 2, and he'll step in with Edmonds to follow. Cardinals have 5 hits on the afternoon. They do have an error that was by Langford, a throwing error, but it didn't cost him. And it's a 1-1 game here in the 5th. 2 outs and a chance to take the lead here with Polanco. Cardinals have left 3 in the game. They stranded the bases loaded last inning.
Bennett trying to make sure that They remember what the signs are with a runner at second. They've had several of them out there. I don't know why you'd have to do it again.
Telemaco is set. Here comes the first two. Polanco. Up the middle. Knocked down. Great play by Anderson. Throws. Safe at first.
Eli fell down going past the bag. Fell down and about 5 or 6 feet past. But a great play, saving a run right here. Knocks it down. Almost gets it. But he pulls the first baseman beyond the bag. So a base hit for Polanco. But take a look. This is going here. And they've had great defense. This is an example of how they played and why their pitchers are doing so well. Well, that's going on. And you see Lee looking for the lead man, but Marrero had fallen down.
First and third, 2 outs, and it's up to Bobby Bonilla, who steps in. He'll pinch hit for Edmonds. Hopefully Jim is okay. Remember that last at bat, he struck out twice today. He was a little, looked like tender in that leg area, that groin area, as he was walking back to the dugout. So Bonilla will pinch hit. He's hitting .273 with 3 homers, 11 RBIs. First and third, 2 outs. And a ball to Bobby Bo. 88-mile-an-hour fastball from Telemaco.
Bonilla is 1 for 1, a home run against Telemaco. That would be exactly what the doctor orders today.
Pujols on deck. 2-0. Now the White Sox, last in the Central, 4.5 games back today, fired Von Joshua, their hitting coach. You got to blame somebody, so the hitting coach is fired today in Chicago.
See if they don't hire Walt Reniak.
Gary Ward, the AAA hitting coach who was at Charlotte, has been brought up.
The father of the Houston player.
Tough to find him a spot, though, in that lineup for the Astros. He can't play the outfield because he can't run that well, and first base is occupied by a guy named Bagwell. 2 balls and a strike on Bonilla. Chops that foul. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pair of infield hits in this inning for the Cardinals. One by Marrero. He's standing at third. The other by Polanco, who's at first. Doesn't help when Frank Thomas is gone for the season. Haven't pitched that well. They haven't played well at all, and 14.5 games out after going to the playoffs and being swept by Seattle last season.
Yeah, remember last year they were talking about, well, we're 1 year ahead of where we think we're going to be. Little did they know.
Minnesota, the surprise of baseball, at 29-12, leading Cleveland by a half game.
Yeah, but look out now.
Yeah, they're on fire. Wow. Full count on Bonilla.
Takes guts to take that pitch.
Been around for almost 20 years. You get that pitch sometimes. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Bobby Bo. Polanco will be off with the pitch. Eli Marrero is at third. Bonilla strikes out. Third strikeout for Telemaco. The Cardinals strand a couple. They've stranded 5 in the game. It's 1-1 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Dustin Hermanson back to work here in the city of Philadelphia. Beat Gary Bennett, Telemaco, then the top of the order in Glanville. A change in the Cardinals defense. Drew moves from right to center, and Bonilla will take over in right. We hope that Jim Edmonds is okay for just joining us. He started this game, struck out a couple of times, and on the second strikeout, as you see Drew now in center, struck out swinging, and it looked like he maybe had re-aggravated a leg injury or a groin injury, was limping a bit back to the dugout. Or it could be just to get him out there, get him out of there and get him some time off with the day off tomorrow, the rest of this game, and then get ready for Milwaukee and Cincinnati. He is not on the bench, though, so we hope he's okay. Bennett grounded to second in his only at bat. The Phillies have just 3 hits, one of them a home run by Travis Lee. First pitch is strike from Hermanson, 91 miles an hour. 1-1 game here in the 5th. The Cardinals themselves have a home run by Ray Lankford. Ray's 11th of the season. The 0-1 pitch. Make it 0-2.
Dustin's doing his part. He has walked 2 men in this game, given up 3 hits, including that home run to Lee. But for the most part, he's pitching very aggressively and getting ahead.
The 0-2 from Dustin Hermanson is in the dirt. We're talking about the White Sox. Apparently David Wells is on the trade block. They're 14.5 games out. The Mets have had an interest. The White Sox have publicly said it would take Alex Escobar, which is a 5-tool player in their minor league system, really the jewel of their minor league system, to make that trade. They offered Jay Payton, but Payton may be out for 2 months because of a hamstring problem, slightly torn hamstring. If you're Gord Ash, you're thinking, what the heck did I do? Picking up Mike Soroka, but he's out for the season with an arm injury after that trade during the offseason.
Yeah, it was documented at the end of the season that Soroka was hurt.
Ground ball hit to Renteria. To Pujols, 1 up and 1 down. Now bring in the pitcher Telemaco, who walked his first time up. A leadoff walk. That was back in the 3rd, and for the first time in 2 innings, Hermanson gets a leadoff man. First pitch to Telemaco is a strike. Hitting just 111.
Fastball inside, push him off the plate.
Popped up. Eli will give it a look, but that's out of play. Certainly another big story in the American League has to be Pudge Rodriguez and what may happen with him.
Yeah, what is it? Within a couple weeks, he's a 10-5 guy.
Right.
They don't know if they need pitching help, so there's talk of trading him. But the thing is how many clubs can afford to pay him?
That's, the Dodgers come to mind after Charles Johnson and Piazza have left. They need some help. Their catcher spot. Ground ball. Renteria is there to Hopper. There's Brian Bartow. He is the Cardinals Director of Public Relations. He's on the phone trying to figure out what happened to Edmonds, and when he finds out, we'll find out, then you'll find out.
And you talk about the Dodgers.
How about that?
They talk about, every year they're going to sign like one of the most expensive free agents. And their payroll over $100 million now.
Right.
At least they're winning.
They're up by a half game over Arizona and San Francisco in the West. When you commit $252 million to one player, Glanville will try to bunt his way on. That'll roll foul. And Rodriguez, it becomes tough to sign a Pudge Rodriguez and some of the other players that you have.
Well, it's one of those situations where sometimes you wonder how much did they bid against themselves.
Yeah.
And You can't win with Rodriguez if you don't improve the pitching staff.
Caminetti's been a bust, injured.
Yeah, they spent all the money on offense, and all the free agents they signed, Galarraga, and did nothing to help a bad pitching staff.
0-1 to Glanville, hit into right. Bonilla is there, and he'll put it away. A 1-2-3 inning for Dustin Hermanson, and Glanville's hit streak may come to a halt today. He's 0 for 3. 1-1. We'll head to the 6th. Trivia question this afternoon. Who did the Cardinals draft in the 28th round of the 1974 June amateur draft?
Oh, I know this one. We didn't sign him, though.
Paul Molitor, Hall of Famer. Another reason why in the 70s the Cardinals struggled. Here's Albert Pujols to lead things off. It'll be Pujols, Drew, and Langford. Paul Molitor probably still could be DHing and hitting 300. Keeps himself in great shape. We were in Minnesota last year and saw him. Coach for the Twins. He's probably loving what he's seeing right now.
Absolutely. Great story in baseball, the way the Twinkies are playing.
Think they'll keep it up, 29 and 12?
No.
Albert has a base hit here today. He's 1 for 2. You're watching Cardinals baseball on WB11, KPLR St. Louis, and the Cardinals Television Network. League leaders in batting average, and Pujols is second.
I remember last year, you know, when Radke is solid, but I remember we saw a matchup of two rookie left-handed pitchers, Redmond and Ankiel, and Redmond now pitched Rick.
Strike on the inside corner. Pujols didn't like the call. 2-2. And again, if you want to find out more about Albert Pujols, check out the Post-Dispatch, a great article done by Mike Eisenbat this morning. The Sunday Post. Pujols sends it into center. Glanville going back, looking up, and it's off the wall. Pujols is into second. Leadoff double here in the 6th.
Right at the base of the wall, 408 feet away. Down and in the middle of the plate, over the head of Glanville. He couldn't get back there, and actually fell on the warning track. I wonder if he thought that ball was going to go out. And he plays a shallow outfield and probably thought he just couldn't get back there quick enough, but it's a little odd the way he played it.
Here's J.D. Drew, who has a double here today. J.D. looks at a ball. One of the things about Pujols you'll find out, and we keep hearing about the maturity of Albert, just 21 years of age. He's trying to adopt a 3-year-old. He has 2 kids, married, back in St. Louis, and this is tapped towards the right side, so a good play by Drew to move the runner up. Pujols is in scoring position, less than 2 outs at third, but the 3-year-old has Down syndrome, and one of the things that Albert wants to do is, with the publicity and the notoriety that comes along with being in the major leagues and doing the kinds of things that he's doing, he wants to start up some charities and organizations that will do many things for children that have Down syndrome, and it's a great story. Albert Pujols.
You don't see too many people of 21 years of age that take that attitude to want to adopt a little girl and feels that he's blessed to be part of her life. I think she's almost about 4, and then he also has about a 4-month-old son.
2 years ago, he was bussing tables at Meadowbrook. It's hard to believe. Here is Langford, infield drawn in. He has had great success against Telemaco in the past. And he had success early on in the 2nd inning. The opposite way, Ray with number 11 and RBI number 25 to get the Cardinals on the board. It's a 1-1 game. The Redbirds have 7 hits on the afternoon. Ray is 1 for 1. Last time up, he was walked. Good play by Bennett behind the plate, blocking that, keeping it in front, 2-0.
Yeah, almost really tough for a catcher when the ball is thrown so far out in front of the plate. But he did the job, and Vern Rule, pitching coach for Larry Bowa, is going to go out and talk on this 2-0 count. Once again, I'm a little surprised that they don't, now that they fall behind the count, they want to go ahead and intentionally pass him.
Yeah, set up the double play.
Set up the double play. Kind of guy that gets a lot of ground balls.
2-0 the count. Pujols at third. We've been talking about Langford's success against Telemaco. Just one out here in the 6th. Darryl Kyle, Matt Morris, and Mike Matthews be the 3 starters against Milwaukee.
Love to see Kyle and Morris anytime, and really looking forward to seeing Matthews. So good pitching pairings, but we need to go in there with a win.
Infield drawn in. The next to Langford. Catches the outside corner. Matthews will be hooked up with Ben Sheets, and he was last year's Olympic hero with Team USA, and he's been outstanding as of late. He has won his last 4 starts for the Brewers with an ERA that's under 2.
Rigdon was outstanding. Got a great arm.
3-1 on Ray Langford. Let's see if they elect to walk him here and set up the double play with Renteria on deck.
He's basically trying to get Ray to expand his zone and get himself out.
Try to chase.
And a lot of times when you do that, you'll throw a wild pitch, or you'll, inadvertently throw the ball where you don't want it to be.
Time is called by Ray. Ray hitting .281 with 11 homers and 25 RBIs, and a very good start to this season. Full count.
Sometimes you try to pitch around a guy a little bit, and then you get to a full count, and then you say, okay, now I'm going to get him. And that's when you make your mistake.
Let's hope it's here. Full count on Langford, who is sitting on 11 home runs and 25 RBIs, and he strikes him out. Big strikeout there. His 4th of the afternoon. None bigger than that one.
Yeah, he got a fastball, and he just swung right through it. Looked like his head pulled off of it. Probably thought you wouldn't get the fastball.
And it's up to Renteria. He's grounded out and fouled out. Left the bases loaded last at bat. Chance to atone for that. Talking about Sheets, Al, he was the guy, and he's only 22 years of age, that beat Cuba in the gold medal game last year. Got some guts, apparently.
He also has some talent.
Yes, he does. Apparently just a buckling curveball. Outdueled Kerry Wood last weekend. The 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1. Renteria trying to give the Cardinals the lead here in the 6th. A 1-1 game. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1 with Eli Marrero on deck.
Seems to be throwing quite a few pitches, but 85 and almost through the 6th inning is not that bad. Lately, though, he's been going deep into counts.
Renteria chops it foul. Past Jose Kendall, third base coach. Full count. This crowd will come alive as Telemaco, who's 4-0, will try to get Renteria here. Inning started with a double by Poole. Drew is able to move him over. Then the strikeout of Langford. 3 balls, 2 strikes on the Cardinals shortstop. Renteria grounds it to short. Rollins is there. Just 1 error on the season over to Travis Lee. And Renteria has left 4 in the game. The Cardinals as a team have left 6. To the bottom of the 6th we go. A 1-1 game. Well, are you looking for a new idea for your child's birthday? For kids 15 and under, the Cardinals Birthday Bash is a great way to celebrate that very special day. Each child receives a special visit from Fred Bird and a Cardinals gift bag, while the birthday child receives their name on the stadium message board along with an autographed ball by one of the Cardinals players. So to find out about it, give the sales department of the Cardinals a call at 421-3060, area code 314-421-3060 to schedule your child's birthday bash today. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Rollins, Abreu, and Rowland due up for the Phillies. A big crowd on a Sunday afternoon here at the Vet. Cardinals trying to avoid being swept by the Phillies for the first time since 1993. Rollins slaps it into the seats. 0-1. He has a base hit. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Now the Phillies are in first place, 25-16, and we haven't talked much this entire weekend because it hasn't really been a point to talk about because of the way they've been playing. But the loss of Mike Lieberthal, a team leader, a Gold Glover, an all-star, and yet their pitching staff hasn't missed a beat with Estrada behind the plate, or Bennett for Larry Boa. Bennett is in there today, but the loss of Lieberthal could prove to be huge for the Phillies as this season wears on. Rollins into center. J.D. Drew, who has moved from right to center, puts it away and beats the boos from the crowd here at the Vet.
Yeah, Lieberthal, a great player and one of their mainstays offensively. But Estrada is, I know he's just been up here and nobody really has a book on him, but he has been very good. And then Bennett, their backup catcher who's here, he has thrown out 80% of would-be base stealers. It's only 5 attempts, and he's thrown out 4 of them.
Bray is 0 for 2.
Edmonds left the game with injury to his right knee. He's listed day-to-day.
The 0-1 to Abreu. He's up and in. Now in his 6th major league season, 27 years of age. Number 3 hitter for most of the season. Was put in the leadoff spot though for a while last season. You can see that white little sheet over his arm. Had a little strain in the elbow, so precautionary measure. They put that on there to kind of warm it up and help it stay warm throughout the afternoon. He's had it all weekend. He had problems last year with that. Way up and in.
You saw his light flash in front of him right there.
Yes, he did.
Straighten the guy up every now and then. Only batting 232. You think of him more as a solid 300 hitter.
The 2-2 will count.
Last year, Abreu hit .316, 25 home runs, 79 RBIs, walked 100 times, had 28 stolen bases.
Abreu hits this into left. Langford is there and puts it away. Battles the sun, creeping through the clouds here on a cloudy day. Philadelphia, and there's 2 away.
Actually started turning on the lights.
8 in a row now.
Retired 8 in a row. Haven't had a hit since the 3rd inning. And we're 2 outs now in the 6th.
Roland is 0 for 1 with a walk, and he looks at a strike. This is as timid as we've seen Roland in a long time, isn't it, Al? Maybe ever.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we really like him. In a lot of ways, he does remind me of Dale Murphy. Very quiet, got his presence about himself.
It's funny, I conducted an interview with him yesterday, and I asked him about playing in front of these fans, and the minute I said Philadelphia, he started rolling his eyes. So this hasn't been an easy place for him to play. Comparisons to Mike Schmidt, of course, because he plays 3rd. Schmidt, one of the all-time greats. Big production is expected out of Roland. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well hit into right center. Bonilla going back. Against the wall and makes the play. He took charge. He called off Drew the whole way and corralled it in. 9 straight set down by Dustin Hermanson. O'Neill against the wall. 1-1 game. Hey, Cardinal fans, on Friday, June 1st, when the Redbirds play the Reds, it's Budweiser Visor Night. The first 25,000 fans, 21 and over, with a paid admission, receive a stylish Cardinals visor. Compliments of Budweiser, the official beer of the St. Louis Cardinals. It'll be Friday, June 1st, when the Cardinals battle the Cincinnati Reds at Busch Stadium. Telemaco has been very good here today. Great starting pitching in this series for the Phillies. It started with Omar Dahl on Friday night. Carried over last night to Robert Person, complete game 4 hitter. And here's Telemaco working in the 7th. It'll be Eli Marrero to lead things off, followed by Dustin Hermanson, then the top of the order and Fernando Vina. Eli has a base hit. He's 1 for 2 as an infield hit. Back in the 5th. Gets under this one. Giving chase is Rollins, but that's well out of play.
See if Eli can't get things started. You know, ball jumps off his bat. Cardinals have 7 hits. They've stranded 6. Renteria has stranded 4 of those 6.
The 0-1 pitch. Eli sticks the bat out and has a base hit into center. His .288 average is on the rise.
2 for 3 today, and another solid base hit. If Dustin can't help his own cause.
Well, this is a similar situation as we see a good piece of hitting here by Eli.
I wonder sometimes how he does it. You know, his mechanics and everything, but like his back leg goes one way, his front leg pulls off pitches, but he reaches out, strokes it, and hit it solid.
Hermanson squared and hit a bullet to second last time up in a similar situation.
It's a smart play by Telemaco. Oh no, you know, would Eli be running? Would it be a fake bunt and hit? It's a straight hit, so sometimes you can step off and have the batter give it away.
Lee is holding at first as Eli's back in there. He does have a stolen base. Possesses very good speed. Rolling way in at 3rd. The outfield in particular, Glanville shallow in center. One game here in the 7th. A chance for Dustin to help himself. He squares up and in. Look out.
Squares around, and the ball just kind of takes off on him, comes inside, and he has to spin away from it, get out of the way.
1 ball, no strikes. Vina waits on deck, nobody out.
Apparently, if you keep Eli in check, you know, Bennett has a pretty good throwing arm. The defense is very good for the Phils.
Next to Hermanson. He squares. Good bunt. Gets it down. Telemaco has to throw to Anderson, who's covering at first, and Hermanson does his job. Out number one, and moving up on the play, Marrero to second. He's in scoring position for Vina, who has 14 RBIs on the year.
Good form right there. Deadens the ball perfectly. Has the bat out in fair territory. Lays down a good one. People say bunting is a lost art on artificial surface. Because the guys don't practice it or don't have good technique.
Vina has a base hit. He's 1 for 3. Leadoff base hit on a 3-1 pitch back in the first. Get back to Telemaco, trying to bunt himself on. Then fly it out to center. First pitch is a ball. Fernando hitting .297. Picked up an awful lot of RBIs in the last couple of weeks. 14 on the year.
Nice average with runners in scoring position. He had that 1 5-for-5 game out in Arizona. He was 3 for 3 with runners in scoring position that day. Big triple last week against the Cubs with the bases loaded.
He has 5 triples on the year. That's tops in the National League. Outfield straight away for Vina. Takes a strike. 1-1. So a chance here for the Cardinals to take the lead in a 1-1 game. Telemaco is set. He's approaching the 100 pitch mark in the 1-1. High drive into right. Abreu going back near the wall, looking up, and it's gone. A home run for Vina, his first of the season. A 2-run shot, and that has given the Cardinals the lead. Vina with home run number 1 brings in Marrero. A 2-run home run, and it's 3-1 St. Louis.
Well, we were hoping he'd get the job done. Speaking of getting the job done, Dustin, give him credit for the sacrifice, setting up the situation. And try to pitch him away and look at back over the middle of the plate. High fly ball, and just kept on carrying into the Phillies bullpen, and the Cardinals now have a 3-1 lead.
Been hitting a lot of fly balls lately, and this one gets out, and Polanco is going to add to the hit total. Into right center. It's cut off by Glanville, and Placido as hit number 9 on the day for the Redbirds. He has 2 hits. Vina a pair of hits, and Bonilla will step in. And that may be it for Telemaco.
Yeah, that's probably it. Bullpen active, and I think they just called for Gomes, the right-hander.
We've not seen much of their bullpen at all. Haven't needed to see much of them because of the great starting pitching they have gotten. Telemaco is done. His 4-0 mark is on the line here today. His club will have to come back if it's going to stay undefeated. Fernando Vina has given the Cardinals a lead. His first home run of the season. It's 3-1 Redbirds.
Fernando Vina here in the Cardinals' top of the 7th inning. We have a 3-1 lead. Wayne Gomes will come in here. He's appearing for the 21st time. 3-1 record, 2.66 ERA, 1 save and 2 opportunities. He is a strikeout pitcher. You see 23 and 23 and 2/3 innings. And he was last year's closer for a not a very good bullpen, but he's got a good arm, and now he's you know, being more than a setup man as they revamp this bullpen. April 2-1, good ERA. He struggled here in May. He is 3-0 here at the Vet. Bobby Bonilla, who took over for Edmonds after he had soreness in his right knee, struck out the first time. This spot in the order, Danny, has really had trouble.
Yeah, 3 strikeouts. Bonilla the latest. He's 0 for 1. Edmonds struck out twice and left the game after his 2nd strikeout, as Al mentioned. Listed as day-to-day with that knee. You hope he's okay. Polanco at first. It was back-to-back hits that did in Telemaco. Bonilla certainly a double play candidate. Let's see if Polanco wants to run. He's not. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bonilla could pull the ball. Lots of room to the right side with Lee holding Polanco. Inning started with a base hit by Marrero, the sacrifice by Hermanson, home run by Vina, 2-run shot, his first of the year. He now has 16 RBIs and a base hit by Polanco. And the 1-2 to Bonilla misses. Cardinals' other run came back in the second on a home run by Langford. A solo shot, his 11th of the season.
Watch our radar gun. The reading, there'll be the first one would be the pitcher throwing to the plate, and then they get the catcher throwing it back to the pitcher.
Holds a string on Bonilla there.
A 352. Third spot. You don't want to be in that spot today.
Wayne Gomes has been a guy that has bounced around in their bullpen. He's been long relief, a setup, closer. Been around for a while now.
Old Fosse. I don't know if that's good or bad that you got a fan club in Philly.
Bad omen sometimes. As JD, he's got a big fan club.
Oh
here.
yeah.
Pujols is 2 for 3, snapping an 0 for 10 streak earlier. Has a base hit and a double. He's flying to right. 363. Second in the league.
I think this is a good spot for Gomes. Put him in, as a setup guy. Let him get some confidence at the big league level. He had 7 saves last year, but there were times when things didn't go well for him. It really carried over and complicated his next 2 or 3 appearances. You see that home record of 3-0 and 1.64.
1-0 pitch to Pujols, misses outside, and he's getting his first look at Wayne Gomes. And who do you think it favors, Al, that when Pujols steps in, he's seeing these hitters for the first time? Does it favor the pitcher that is seeing them for the first time, or is Pujols hit in the driver's seat?
In my mind, it always favors the pitcher, because you know what your strengths are, and you should pitch to your strengths, and hopefully at times it'll complement a hitter's weaknesses.
Against righties, he's hitting .406, and having said what you just said, that makes it even more impressive what Albert has been able to do.
Yep.
Room to the right side, the 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Pujols certainly a double play candidate. Has been so during his first 45 to 50 days, and against right-handed pitching, he's tops in the National League. That's been the only down thing you can say about Pujols. Gets into a lot of double plays because he hits the ball so hard. And a full count with 2 outs here. Polanco will be off with the pitch.
He hadn't hit into one for a while. Is he still at 11?
Thought he may have had one in Pittsburgh, but I could be wrong. Runner is off with the pitch, and Pujols draws the walk.
He's still at 11, so he had 11 on that last road trip, so he hadn't had one
a couple weeks.
The homestand and in this first 6 games of this trip.
Cardinals are in the midst of their longest road trip of the season. It'll be a day off tomorrow, then Milwaukee and Cincinnati remain. 2 night games against Milwaukee. Day game on Thursday, then off to Cincinnati for 3 against the Reds on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of next weekend. J.D. Drew will step in. Larry Bow has seen enough. He'll call in a left-hander. So Gomes was able to strike out Bonilla. walked Pujols, so first and second with 2 down. The Cardinals have been able to do some damage here in this inning with the home run by Vina, 2-run home run, his first of the season. Phillies will bring in a left-hander to face J.D. Drew. The Cardinals have banged out 10 hits on the afternoon. They lead it by the score of 3-1. This portion of Cardinal baseball on WB11 is brought to you by Bank of America. We find financial solutions that fit you, and by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. For tires and complete auto service, all you need is Dobbs. Ben Franklin Bridge. A look at that here in Philadelphia. Drew will step in against the lefty, Eddie Oropesa.
Oropesa is trained for the 13th time. He's one of 4 rookies on the teams. Never pitched higher than AAA prior to this season. And that was in '99. He was with Fresno. Left-handed batters are only batting .182 against him. Right-handers .389.
Pulls a string here on Drew. Fools him on that first pitch. 0-1. J.D. today has a double. He's flied to left and grounded to first. Langford is on deck. He has a home run. The Cardinals have 2 on the day. First and second, 2 outs. And Drew lifts it into center. Glanville is there and puts it away. So the Cardinals strand a couple. They've left 8 in the game. 4 of those, though, by Renteria. But they do some damage in this inning thanks to Fernando Vina. His first home run of the 2001 season puts the Cardinals on top. Cardinal Baseball is a production of Bud Sports and an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net. Big inning here for Dustin Hermanson. We're in the 7th. He'll pitch with the lead. It's 3-1 Cardinals. Travis Lee, Pat Burrell, and Marlon Anderson. The first pitch is a ball from Dustin. 90 miles an hour on that fastball. Tossing a 3-hitter. Two and 0.
Dustin take good care of himself. Always expects 6 or 7 innings out of him, and only 81 pitches for the first 6 innings. Working here in the 7th.
Lee has a home run. The only run for the Phillies. Drives this one pretty well into right. Backing up and making the play is Bobby Bowe. That was a tough play. Those ones that are right at you like that, Al.
Yeah, the line drive right at an outfielder. You can't really gauge it. You're not playing it off to the side. You can't really gauge the height of it. So sometimes they will surprise you, get over your head. Bobby backing up on it and uses all of his frame. Doesn't get off the ground as well as he used to.
No.
He didn't need to. You see his son yesterday?
That was neat, yeah.
Pretty neat. His initials. After he threw the pitch, he'll turn to Marrero and say, "My fault, bad location." They got away with it.
The bat boy.
Yeah, well, no, his name's Brandon. BB, Brandon Bonilla. Just happened to have
a BB on his back.
BB on his back. For bat boy. Cute little kid.
The 1-1 pitch to Burrow. Fastball hit into center for a 1-out base hit. Taking place today, Milwaukee leads Pittsburgh 7-3. And how about this in that game? Devon White of the Brewers hit his 3rd grand slam since May 10th in the 4th inning. It was an 0-1 pitch from Terry Mulholland. He hit it into left. At that point, it gave the Brewers a 7-0 lead. White also hit a grand slam Tuesday against the Phillies.
Against Telemaco.
Yeah, and that was here at the Vet. And another one against the Cubs on May 10th. He now has 11 in his career, but 3 since May 10th. We'll see Devon White on Tuesday night. Anderson is homered in this series. Today, he's 0 for 2. Grounded out to 3rd and lined out to Vina. Vina was stretched out all the way to make that play. 3-1 Redbirds here in the 7th. First pitch to Anderson. A strike. Gary Bennett, the catcher, is on deck. Chicago, the Cubs lead Arizona at Wrigley 5-0. Cincinnati on top of Houston. That's good news, 5-0. That's in the fourth. Colorado 7, Florida 2. Atlanta on top of San Francisco 7-3. Lifted into center. Drew is there, and here come the boos.
You ever been booed in your athletic career?
I didn't play in front of anybody. Unless in college I was going to get booed by a couple of buddies of mine that were inebriated. Yeah, I got booed a couple of times.
It's fun, isn't it?
I enjoyed it.
Dave Duncan going to run out and talk to Dustin as looks like Estrada is going to pinch hit.
9 fly ball outs off the bats the Phillies today, and Estrada 8 ground outs, no strikeouts yet for Hermanson.
Got a scouting report, by the way, on you. It's a baseball player.
I don't think I want to hear it.
No.
Thank you. Here's Estrada.
I was told that your best asset was your enthusiasm. And with a little hard work and a little more talent, you could be the 41st person on a 40-man roster.
It's been my story for a long, long time.
Mr. Polite.
I should have realized it came from Clifford.
It's not a long time to say something that nice.
The 0-1 pitch. Ripped into right. Burrow stopped at third. First and third with 2 down.
And we talked about Lieberthal, but the way Estrada is hit at the major league level, you know, they don't miss anything. So he calls a good game, good receiver, throws well enough, and he's obviously been a good bat. Switch hitter, and pitch down, and right off the shoe tops, he lines it solid into right.
Rob Ducey will pinch hit. 3 for 12 as a pinch hitter so far.
Phillies pinch hitters have been outstanding this year. They lead the National League with a .340 average, and now they're 17 for 48 in that department, so add a few more points.
First pitch up there, Hakkinen fouls it back. No balls and a strike. First and third. We're in the 7th. 2 down, and the Cardinals clinging to a 2-run lead. 5 hits on the afternoon for the Phillies. He missed his spot, but looked like it was a strike.
Yeah,
Guerrero set up outside.
Set up outside. He misses his spot and throws it right over the middle of the plate.
Yeah.
And he catches it a little awkward. But that's at the knees.
Tim Welke is the home plate umpire today. 1-1 pitch. 2-1. This looks pretty good too.
I mean, he's obviously trying to keep the ball down. And
the 2-1 pitch. Evens the count at 2-2.
We're all going to go out and talk to him right now. Talk about all the time with Dustin, keep his emotions in check, and this is a good move by Eli. Don't let him get upset with a couple of those close pitches. Don't let it carry over.
Ducey was able to lay off 2 pitches that could have been called strikes and then chased one out of the zone to foul it away. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as Hermanson, he felt like he was getting squeezed and lay one over the plate. He didn't do so, and now sets up a possible strikeout and a chance to get out of this inning.
2-2, but you think he might chase one up?
They set up inside. Boy. Full count.
Got to be careful late in the game pitching inside.
Yep. Estrada will be off with the pitch. He's at first.
One thing as a pitcher, you try to avoid this 3-2, 2 out, and let him have that running count.
Bases loaded, and Glanville will step in. He has hit the club best 15 straight. That is on the line today. He's 0 for 3. There's action in the Cardinal bullpen.
If the Pujols going to come over here and talk to him. Speccioli throwing and ready in the bullpen. Dustin's a competitor. He wants to at least finish this frame.
Bases loaded. 2 down and a 2-run lead for the Cardinals. Glanville homered last night. He has 7. Couple of ground outs and a fly out today. And the first pitch, a strike from Dustin. Burrell, Estrada, and Ducey on the base pass.
Start Glanville off with a slider. With the bases loaded, 349 average.
Quickly 0-2.
That's the way you go, Dustin. Slider, then fastball.
He showed some guts in his last start against the Pirates. 2 innings in which the runners in scoring position with less than 2 outs, and he was able to get out of it. Now with the bases loaded and 2 outs, he's trying to get out of this inning. And it's slapped foul. Good piece of hitting by Glanville to stay in there.
Breaking ball right there. You know, in that game against Pittsburgh, didn't he have bases loaded? He got Nunez to chase a ball that was up for a strikeout.
Hermanson trying to get Glanville here. Time is called. The next pitch, left it up and over the plate, but got a pop-up. Barrero puts it away in foul ground, and Hermanson gets out of the inning. The Phillies strand the bases loaded, and their best chance to get back in this game, maybe. They've left 6. The Cardinals lead it by 2 runs. Fernando Vina has given the Cardinals a 2-run lead. It's 3-1 Redbirds. To move to the top of the 8th, his 2-run home run, the 7th, gave the Cardinals the lead. And here's Ricky Bottalico, the former Redbird, appearing in his 23rd game this season. A record of 2-3 with an ERA that's near 3. Does have 1 save. He's been the setup man for Jose Mesa this season, and having a pretty good year so far. The bullpen much improved for the Philadelphia Phillies, and Bottalico is in his 2nd tour of duty with the Phillies. His 7th year in the majors. 31-year-old right-hander. May. ERA has climbed now. It's near 5 in May. 99. He was 3-7 with the Redbirds. Spent last season with Kansas City with 16 saves. Met rudely. Here's Langford into the gap. He's on his way to second. Leadoff double. And Ray is 2 for 3 with a home run and that double. Third time he's been on base. He also has a walk. So first pitch that he saw from Batalico, he laced it into right center. Leadoff double for Langford here in the 8th. That'll bring in Renteria, who's had a tough day. Renteria's left 4 on. Good piece of hitting by Ray, just turning on that pitch and hitting it into the gap for the double.
Yeah, very dangerous pitch to Ray Langford.
Estrada was hit. Seems to be all right. Renteria today has grounded to third. He's fouled out with the bases loaded and left a man on. Back in the 6th when he grounded to short. Cardinals have left 8. Renteria's left 4. You're watching St. Louis Cardinals baseball on WB11, KPLR St. Louis, and the Cardinal Television Network. Langford at second, nobody out. The 3-1 St. Louis lead. Shows bunt, pulls back and takes a ball. Talico's velocity has come back to not where it was when he was dominating at times as a closer, but he's getting it up 93, 94, 95, and he has been much better along with this Phillies bullpen this season.
He's comfortable here and started with Philadelphia. He's kind of Larry Boa's kind of guy. Had a lot of decisions. Already 5 decisions, 2 wins, 3 losses. ERA just over 3 and 1 save.
Came up with the Phillies back in '94. Spent 5 seasons with Philadelphia. Was off to St. Louis and Kansas City. The 2-1 pitch. Renteria gets the bunt down. And moving up on the play, Langford to third. So good job by Edgar. And Marrero step in. He has a pair of singles.
Big runner out there. You see, even it's a high pitch, but with good form, gets it down. Ray goes over to third base, 90 feet away from the finish line, right? Pay dirt.
Let's hope.
Infield in.
Langford at third. The first to Marrero is fouled back. Eli's had a very good day. Rounded out to second. That was in the 3rd. Then consecutive base hits in the 5th and in the 7th.
And push that average up to 300.
You agree with me, as the season wears on, we're going to see more and more of Eli?
I think so. I mean, it's, Mike Matheny's trying to make some adjustments, struggling a little bit batting average wise. But I think Eli deserves a little more playing time. He's going to catch Matt Morris, probably every time, but he seems to be working real well with Dustin Hermanson, and he keep Mike real fresh.
Eli will be behind the plate on Wednesday. That's when Morris will make his next start. That's up and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hermanson is on deck.
And I think, Danny, you may be more abreast of this, but it seemed like when we left spring training, Carlos Hernandez was going to be out for the year, but I think he is playing again.
Right.
Or down on a medical rehab.
Actually started last week.
I don't think they've started the official clock yet. It's just going to take him a lot longer than 20 days or so to get back in the swing of things. Coming back after the back surgery, and then he had a nerve problem in spring training that flared up. A lot of people thinking he was going to be shut down for the year.
The 1-2 pitch. Eli swings through a fastball, 92 miles an hour. And that's the 2nd out.
this youngster here that gets that foul ball, and it's made his day. Boy, he's pumped. Eh? Look at him. That's what it's all about. Look at his buddy's even more as excited as he is.
So at 2 down, Larry Sutton will hit, and Hermanson will be done for the afternoon.
Sutton has been swinging the bat pretty well of late, and Dustin surely did his job.
Hermanson threw 99 pitches. He didn't strike anybody out, but it didn't matter. He got a lot of fly balls and ground ball outs.
In line for his 5th victory, and that's most important, Hale. Heck with the strikeouts, the win's what it's all about.
Yep.
Would have been interesting if Eli could have drove in an additional run, Ray Langford, whether Hermanson would have been pitching or not. But now you've got to take a shot and get that extra run.
A chance for 4 straight for the right-hander if the Cardinals can hold on. Here's Sutton with Langford at 3rd. And Larry, first pitch, fly ball into left. Burl Aaron puts it away, so the Cardinals strand a man, their 9th man that they've stranded today. Hermanson is done. It's up to the bullpen. 3-1 St. Louis. Well, this should be interesting as we move to the bottom of the 8th. Steve Klein will pitch against the man that took him deep on Friday night and caused quite a controversy between these two. Rollins will lead things off. It'll be Rollins, Abreu, and Scott Rowland for Klein, who will try to set it up. And with Steve, you just don't know. He may pitch the 9th as well, but that will probably be Dave Beer's territory. But this is the storyline right now here at the bottom of the 8th, Klein and Rollins.
Now, it's not so much that you want to turn Rollins around because he's a switch hitter, and I think he's got more power, and he hits much better from the right side. But then you've got Abreu, straight left-hand hitter, then Rowland, then Lee. So you don't want to bring in Steve Klein just to face one guy.
Right. This should be fun, though.
Well, you know, nothing's going to happen.
No, but just seeing these two go head-to-head.
The reason what Tony was so upset with Klein's comments was because you leave yourself no margin for error. I mean, a ball gets away. I mean, you could understand Rollins got right up on top of the plate. Because, you know, if any pitch comes inside to him, you know, these umpires, they read the paper. Appearing for the 21st time, ERA got roughed up. He allowed the first home run on Friday and the first earned run since April the 12th. He's allowed runs in just 3 of his team leading 20 appearances.
1 ball, 1 strike on Rollins, who has a single today and a pair of flyouts to center. 1 for 3. The next from Klein is popped up. Right side, Pujols giving chase. Vina is there. Fernando puts it away, and that was not easy. It was coming back on him near the foul line. That would have been a fair ball, and Fernando put it away for out number 1 here in the 8th.
Steve Klein, an emotional guy, and you know, you just take a look at Fernando right there, arching back, holding on to it. Steve Klein and Larry Anderson have a little history. One of the Phillies broadcasters, when Larry was a pitching coach in the minor leagues, he one time sent a limo to pick up Steve Klein. Limo driver got out and said, Mr. Klein, here's your car. And he said, well, I didn't order one. He said, no, but Larry Anderson sent this one. We wanted to make sure you got to the ballpark safely. He apparently has never had any success against that team, and so we wanted to give him the red carpet treatment and say the team was happy to see Mr. Klein come into town.
Larry Anderson, quite a character, right?
Absolutely. Good guy.
Working with Harry Callis, longtime voice of the Phillies.
You don't know.
31st season.
Abreu wouldn't have been on that team because he came up through the Houston farm system. Sometimes you got to have thick skin in this, and you know, and of course they laugh about it. Steve Klein and Anderson become good friends because of it.
Good pitch there by Klein, and a strikeout of Abreu. That's the first man in the Phillies lineup to strike out today. Klein gets the first one here in the 8th.
His that good slider. Frees a lot of left-handers. There's Larry Anderson. Yeah, he's got a doll to take home.
His bobblehead.
His bobblehead. Many people accused him of being a bobblehead. He missed a great opportunity to be left-handed. Now they're going to go to the bullpen and bring in Dave Veers. So Steve Klein does the job. We're going to see more times than not he's going to do the job. But he was he was the key guy. They came over in Montreal, Hermanson and Klein, and he was the key acquisition.
Klein is done with 2 outs here in the 8th, and Dave Veers will come in, try to get this final out. We'll move to the 9th. It's a 3-1 St. Louis lead. 34-year-old Dave Veers will take over. The strikeout has been part of his repertoire as of late. He has struck out 17 batters in his last 14+ innings, including 9 in his last 6+. Stretch of 6 games there. Kind of curious decision here, because if rolling homers, it's still a 3-2 game, and then you have the lefty coming up, Travis Lee, but Veers can get left-handers out, but why not keep Klein in?
They just pay us to commentate, not to manage.
All right. 3-1 Redbirds here in the bottom of the 8th with 2 gone and nobody on the base pass. Rolling. First pitch to Polanco. And the bullpen has a 1-2-3 inning. The first 2 set down by Klein. This one set down by Dave Veers. And Tony La Russa making the right moves in a 3-1 Cardinal lead. Top of the 9th we go. 3-1 St. Louis. Fernando Vina gave the Cardinals a lead. It's part of our playing the game. It's brought to you by Budweiser. With the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer, this Bud's for you. Our Budweiser play of the game, Fernando Vina's 2-run home run back in the 7th to give the Cardinals a 3-1 lead, and that's where we stand right now. Our Budweiser play of the game, Vina's first of the season.
Perfect timing for Vina to do so. Hopefully make a winner out of Dustin Hermanson, run his record to 5-1. He goes 7 innings, only allowed 1 run, a home run by Travis Lee. 5 hits allowed, 3 walks, no strikeouts.
2 balls, no strikes on Fernando, who has a base hit as well to go along with his home run.
Talco, 2nd inning of work.
There's a strike. 91 miles an hour from the right-hander Batalico. Ricky was a catcher in college and then converted to a pitcher.
Save a lot of wear and tear on your arm early in your career. You'd be surprised how many major league pitchers were not pitchers at a young age.
Full count on Fernando.
Did you ever pitch?
I did.
And
hurt my arm.
See, I wasn't a pitcher until a senior in high school.
Full count on Vina. Laces it up the middle. 3-hit day for Fernando. He's running hard as Glanville bobbled it, but stayed right in front.
3 for 5 to get that average well over 300. Came in at 296. Glanville, a little bobble right there, but Vina couldn't advance any further. Saw him. That's the kind of line drives you expect. See, he saw the bobble, but knew that it wasn't far enough to go take a chance to go to 2nd.
Pitch out and undoing is Vina with 6 stolen bases, not going anywhere. 3-1 St. Louis lead here in the 9th. Houston, by the way, is losing against Cincinnati. That's in the 5th. They're down by the score of 6-1, and Milwaukee loses to Pittsburgh 8-7.
They made a game out of it, didn't they?
Came back. Polanco trying to get the bunt down, and a foul ball.
Better run. I was watching some bunts.
They're all coming back.
They're coming back to the playing field, and Polanco is foul, and then he started, having some doubts, and so he started running down the line.
Day off tomorrow, and then Milwaukee on Tuesday night.
Getting a little closer. Let's see a hit and run.
This is the guy to do it with. Think about when McGuire comes back and how you keep Polanco in the lineup. Pujols, of course, with his versatility, can play him in left and right and give Drew and Langford some days off. Polanco, his versatility, you play short. Pujols can play third. Lots of different options. And with Polanco, I think you want him more times than not, Al, to be in that lineup because of his back control. And the Cardinals do strike out an awful lot, especially when McGuire gets back in there. And remember, when he was an everyday guy towards the end of last season, Polanco kind of wore down towards the end of the season. So he's dangerous off the bench. Ball and a strike. 1-2.
Danny, a lot of people, young players, don't realize the difference. And Mark DeJohn was talking about even for him being so much time in the minor leagues, just that extra month of playing time. And they naturally, kind of wear down anyway because they're not accustomed to playing 6 months. They only play 5 in the minor leagues.
Polanco, not a good at bat there as he strikes out. Rarely do we see that. Couldn't get the bunt down, then he strikes out swinging. Second strikeout for Batalico. That'll bring in Bonilla. Real Cormier is throwing in the Phillies bullpen. Bonilla will hit from the left side.
You'd be doing him a favor.
Turning him around. He's 0 for 2, filling in for Edmonds, and if you just joined us, Edmonds started today, left the game. He struck out twice, and after his second strikeout, strained his right knee just a bit. He's listed now as day-to-day, but took himself out of the game as he was limping back towards the dugout.
Get a little treatment, still pick up a. Oh, there's Jimmy. Decided to get dressed and sit in the stands, but he kept his uniform on.
Bonilla hits it into left. Pat Burrell is there. 2 away.
You didn't really think that was Evans, did you?
No.
First baseman Albert Pujols.
One more at bat for Albert Pujols here today.
He's 2 for 3 and a walk.
So he's been aboard 3 times. Snapped his 0 for 10 little mini slump. Vina's at first. Albert takes a strike on the outside corner.
That strike zone got a little wide there.
About to say that too.
It was a slider. See Ricky try to throw a fastball by him.
One ball, one strike on Albert Pujols. In the hole, 1-2.
Ricky's got him set up for his slider away.
Next to Pujols, up and away, and Vina is gunned down at second. So Fernando trying to get into scoring position to add to this Redbird lead. Gunned down by Estrada. He'll stay at 6 stolen bases on the year. 3 outs away from a victory. 3 outs as Dave Veers trying to close it out and save this game for Dustin Hermanson. 3-1 St. Louis. They have the lead. It'll be Travis Lee, Pat Burrell, and Marlon Anderson. So some guys that can knock it out of the park coming up for the Phillies. And a good test for Veers, who just threw 1 pitch to end the 8th. And Kerry Robinson has been inserted as a defensive replacement. Bobby Bonilla was in right. Robinson takes over with great speed in right. Lee is homered.
We'll start campaigning for Robinson to get a start.
Yeah, I agree. He's earned it.
I've enjoyed watching him. He can play defense. He just doesn't have a good throwing arm. That's the only thing.
There's a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dave Veers was having numbness earlier in the season on his finger. That has pretty much subsided. He's got the splitter working.
One of the things he's done is he's thrown a lot more fastballs. You throw more of them, you get better velocity. And he and I were talking about it, that you get people looking more for a tendency to look for that splitter, then you throw fastballs by him, and then the next time you face him down the road, they'll look for the fastball and you'll throw more splitters.
Next from Veers is Chuck Powell. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lee has supplied the Phillies with their only run of the day, and that was a home run off of Hermanson back in the 2nd.
Good pitcher. And of course, you have that drill. If anything's pulled on the right side, you immediately break that way, just like this.
Good play by Albert Pujols. The flip to Veers, who's covering right on cue.
Well, that's why you do it, because it's your responsibility to get over there. So even on foul balls, you practice it. Nice stop by Pujols, and there's Dave to take the throw. 2 outs to go. Looking for it's what, 5th save this year, and pitched very well right here in this ballpark.
Here is Pat Burrell. He represents everything right that J.D. Drew, I guess, wasn't here in Philadelphia. Top pick. Drew, of course, didn't sign, and Burrell did, and he signed up for a couple more seasons after this year, and they're expecting huge things, and probably it'll come from Pat Burrell. 0-2.
It's a slider. So he's got 2 weapons that he would like to throw, especially now as ahead in the count. Go with obvious splitter. Slider.
It's 1-2. Pat Burrell, former college player of the year, while playing with the Miami Hurricanes.
Now they throw the splitter to him.
Next from Veers, and he got him. And it's up to Anderson with nobody on and 2 outs.
Comes the splitter, and this is perfect. Not only is he, as a hitter, if you see a splitter coming and it's about thigh high, you got to lay off, because then the bottom will fall out of it, be out of the strike zone.
Two strikes away from avoiding the sweep for the Cardinals. Phillies were trying to sweep the Redbirds for the first time since '93.
First pitch, he threw a slider for a strike. Fastball away.
Anderson today is grounded out and lined out twice.
Mislocation, but didn't hurt anything. 1-1 count.
Let's see what happens here with 1 ball and 1 strike.
Splitter.
1-2, and the Cardinals are strike away. Veers, by the way, with that strikeout, has struck out 18 in just over 14 innings of work. Estrada waits on deck. If Anderson can extend the game. The next from Veers.
Well, with 2 strikes, he had to protect the plate and almost took that splitter off the ground.
Off day tomorrow, then off to Milwaukee and Cincinnati for the Cardinals, and Hermanson in line for his 4th straight victory.
Always take something positive, and you lose this series, but you swept the one in Pittsburgh, so you're 4-2 on the road trip.
The 1-2 from Veers, and he got him. Strikes out. The final 2 men, and the Cardinals avoid the sweep. Hermanson's 5-1. Veers the save, and the Cardinals are 25-17. 3-1 victory here today.
Another great performance by Dustin. He's really pushing, so you've got our top 3 starters are really going and pitching extremely well.
A well-pitched weekend. Dustin Hermanson caps it off with a victory. He's 5-1. His ERA is on the decline. We'll wrap it up in just a moment. Cardinal Baseball on WB11 was brought to you by Budweiser. With the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer, this run's for you. By Southwest Airlines, celebrating 30 years of freedom. 30 years, one mission, low fares. By AutoZone, the right part, the right price, and good advice. And by your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals on WB11. Our final score this afternoon is the Redbirds avoid the sweep. 3-1. The Cardinals win it. Dustin Hermanson is now 5-1. Dave Veers, his 5th save of the season. Langford went deep. Vina, he went deep for the first time this season, and the Redbirds win it. This copyrighted telecast has been an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net in association with Bud Sports. For Al Roboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Thanks for being